My name is Julie. I am a marketing coordinator in the School of Health Sciences. Before we start, can everybody see my screen okay? Before we get started, I wanted to make an announcement that the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish regions of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. Our agenda for today are welcome and introductions. Welcome, everyone. We're going to do a poll. We're going to watch a video. We're going to get a presentation from our program head. We're going to have program overview from him as well. Our program advisor, Maggie, is here with us today, and then we have time for questions and answers at the end. So feel free to comment and put your questions in the chat, and we will talk about it and bring them up at the end of this session. I'd like to introduce you to Bobby Sidhu, our program head for Occupational Health and Safety.
Hi, as Julie said, I'm the program head for the OHS program, and we'll start with a poll before we launch into the video. So you would have had the poll just jump up there, and the question is, what industries do you think occupational health and safety professionals typically work in? Government agencies, heavy industries like construction, massage therapy, or anywhere there are workers. So if you'll just take a moment to answer that, and then Julie will launch the video, and then we'll come back and give the answer to this poll.
I love my job because I get fulfillment from it, knowing that people get to go home safe every night at the end of the day. Working with people, I mean, it's a huge part of what I do day in and day out. Working with the juniors, the apprentices, even the executives on trying to help them understand their health and safety responsibilities. The Occupational Health and Safety Diploma Program at BCIT is second to none. It really prepares you for the on-site, real-world situations that you're going to come up against. And that's why I chose BCIT.
BCIT's Occupational Health and Safety Diploma Program is the most comprehensive program of its kind in Canada. Our students get in-class lectures and labs, but also hands-on experience and a practicum on-site to give them practical knowledge. Our students learn to recognize, evaluate, and control a variety of workplace hazards and worker exposures, such as noise exposure, lighting, fall protection, and any other chemical contaminants that might be found in the workplace.
Every industry will require some type of safety. So whether I choose to stay in healthcare or move into oil and gas or into mining or into engineering, there will always be a job for health and safety professionals.
Every day knowing that the workers get to go home safely to their family, to their children, that is probably the #1 factor in me pushing forward to get this done properly and correctly every day.
Hi, everyone. And now I'll put up the poll results.
Great. So, as the video said, I mean, many of you got it right. Anywhere there are workers. I mean, heavy industries like construction is one of the places our workers go, but anywhere there are workers, you're going to find OHS professionals. So we'll just jump back to the slides, and then I'll talk about a few more of the industries as well, too. Great. Thanks, Julie. So what is occupational health and safety? So basically it's it's about, as we said in the video, recognizing, evaluating, controlling hazards in the workplace. Next slide. So who are we looking for? Basically, the most important skill an OHS professional needs to have is a strong communicator, right? Using those skills to investigate, solve problems related to health and safety in the workplaces. Despite having a lot of technical aspects, communication is the strongest skill that you need, because you got to convince people. You need to understand their point of view, understand why they're making the choices they're making, which may not be the the most, from a health and safety perspective, efficient way to do the job, right? And help getting their point of view to see why they're doing that, so you can work together to implement a better way, a safer way of doing the job. So some job experience is important. We do want our grads to have up to 5 years experience in any job. Now, some people get worried, oh, well, I've only worked in retail. Well, only working retail is working, right? So it doesn't matter where you've worked, as long as you've dealt with people, you've worked in a career. That's what we're looking for. Sorry, a job. It doesn't necessarily have to have, you don't have to be set in a career. So any place that you worked where you've gotten some experience is what we're looking for before you enter the diploma program. We have two programs, the full-time on-campus 2-year diploma program. So really it teaches not only the health and safety side of the business, but also we get into the business, human resources, a lot more communication, decision-making. We have field trips, we have guest lecturers who come in. So it's in a lot of networking between industry and the program for students. We also have a part-time online distance education program. There's an info session for that at 4 p.m., although I will talk about it a bit here as well. And this is really for people already working in industry. Maybe they've fallen into safety, maybe they've into a safety role within their organization, maybe they joined the JOSH committee, and now they realize, wow, this is a career I could have. And so that program is done. It's going to be a 2-step program now. We've recently revised it. So 18 to 24 months, 30 months, I would say, to complete the new program. But if you attend the info session at 4 p.m., Dave Wood, the program head of that program, can give more information. So for the certificate program in particular, we have 3 terms a year where students can enter: January, April, and September. So currently the September intake is open for that program. There's no prerequisites to enter that program. And as I mentioned, it's for working professionals. The current version of the program is a 45 credit program, 20 required and 25 elective. We are revising that program again. So then that 20 required will now become an associate certificate, and then you can continue on and complete the whole certificate, which will be updated in January. So again, it is under revision. Dave Wood again can speak more to that. And we do have transfer credits available. The job outcomes, though, are the same. It really depends which pathway you want to take. If you want to continue to work, you can do the certificate. If you'd like to come on campus full-time for 2 years, you can do the diploma. The transition into the career for the diploma is a bit more straightforward because of the networking opportunities that are in the diploma. But if you have a strong career, say in a particular industry outside of school, the certificate program is very well suited to working professionals. So in our diploma program, we talk about things like safety management, leadership, conflict resolution, a lot of communication skills. We do get into the technical side of it as well. It is a generalist approach. Once you graduate from the diploma program, you can basically go work in any industry sector. I've had people who've graduated who've gone to work for the health authorities. And then decide one day they want to go work in a heavy industry. And it's very straightforward to transition because, regardless of the industry sector, the underlying skills of investigating, developing programs, understanding legislation, that's really what we teach you. And it teaches you to apply to any job sector. So I always tell my graduates that once you graduate from this program, you'll never be out of a job, because the day you decide you don't want to work in a particular industry, you can easily ladder to another one. And I'll talk about those industries in a slide that will come up very soon. And the positions, they range from safety officer, safety advisor, safety coordinator, all the way to management to senior management. So how is it done during the diploma program? We have a variety of lectures and discussion groups. Class time is about 30 hours a week. We go through case studies, we do field trips. Not last year due to COVID, but we're planning to be back on campus in September. So we will be full-time on campus. So we hope to start getting our field work and field trips going again. As you saw in the video, there's laboratories, so where we teach about hygiene labs, where it's physical, chemical, biological hazards, fire protection, ergonomics, a lot of individual and group assignments. We do have an industry practicum. It's actually a course project that happens during the year. So we have a safety program review where students will do an audit of an industry company of their OHS management system, and to create basically a portfolio for themselves for when they graduate. And as I said, jobs observations and field trips that our students participate in. So networking, that's a strength of the diploma. We have career fairs. We have students join things like the CCSE, the Canadian Society of Safety Engineering, the AHA, which is a American Industrial Hygiene Association, BC Yukon chapter. And through our network through BCIT, we engage them in monthly meetings. Students become student members of these organizations, but also sit as representatives. So we have representatives both for the CCSE and the AIHA from their student membership. Professional development and networking. Many of our students go to these meetings and that opens up job opportunities for them. We have NIOSH Week. We have conferences, so our diploma students attend the Western Safety Conference, which is graciously, they provide free admission to our students, and they are able to go network there as well as attend various education sessions. And we do meet and greet, speed mentoring, industry guest lectures all throughout the program, and as well as hand in hand with these two organizations at the top there to help network our students into industry. So what is our student profile? I would say half or more of our students already have a bachelor's degree. Nowadays, I would say even more than that, graduating from places like UBC, SFU, and trying to transition that into a career. They actually come back to BCIT and complete our diploma and have no problems transitioning into a career. 10% of our students, I would say, are WorkSafe BC funded students. I would say come from a strong background of maybe 10 years as a carpenter or a welder or some other trades job. They also enter our program. And then we also have a number of students who come with master's, PhDs, or higher education. So we have a very diverse intake. We'll have landscapers next to doctors. That is really an example of what our intake is, and that's not an exaggeration. We have a very broad spectrum of students who enter our program because some of our students will go work for things like the Triumph, where they do nuclear and radiation work. Other students will go work for companies in heavy construction or oil and gas. Other students will go work for school boards. So there's a very big depth of where our students will go work. And the median age of the students is 30, but the ages range from about 25 to 55 and older. Next slide. So what are the roles? What do we do? Well, again, we develop, implement, and monitor safety management programs for hazards in the workplace. Those can be safety hazards like working at heights for construction, or it can be hygiene hazards like UV or noise or asbestos exposure in workplaces. We liaise with external and private and government agencies. So we have industry associations for all the industries in BC's. We have WorkSafe BC. We have the government agencies that all have legal requirements. And so the ability to interpret administrative legislative requirements is important. We develop and deliver training programs. We coordinate promotion strategies for health and safety. Currently, students of mine are doing COVID initiatives in their workplaces. Coach and lead program committees like JOSH committees and other groups, within their workplaces, and do a lot of assessment as well, if not themselves, hiring third parties and to do the assessment and then interpreting the reports for their organizations, like air quality, noise, temperature, vibration sampling, etc. Just a small snippet of the things we do. This is just a small list of what our grads do. Next slide. So in a day in the life, any day, it's quite varied. There is very much a mix of office work because this generally is an excluded management type position. Some of our students do work union positions as well too, but a lot of them sit kind of at the advisor, coordinator, or manager role. So workplace inspections, writing policies and procedures, doing risk assessments, providing education and training. If an accident happens, doing investigations, doing meetings like JOSH committee meetings, joint occupational health and safety, management meetings, toolbox talks, meeting with WorkSafe, and then sampling as well as doing reviews of the OHS programs, various programs like noise control programs, respirator programs, infection control, now thanks to COVID programs. So a lot of management and oversight. So what do our grads make? I would say a grad with no experience out the door, maybe either a diploma or a bachelor's who hasn't really worked in industry could start off at 65,000, 70,000. And then graduates who have previous experience, say somebody who's been a carpenter or a welder, or somebody who's worked in some other industry in healthcare for a while, they're usually on the higher end, 75, 80. And not to say this is the norm, but I've had grads who have graduated and have received six-figure salaries out right at graduation. Of course, they had prior experience to lean on, but we have the upward mobility in the career is very high. So, and then on top of that, students end up in higher level positions, and they can make, you know, as I said, six-figure salaries, and some open their own consulting on the side or full-time, right? You know, there's a lot of scope within for private consulting in this career as well. And then of course, depending on where you're working, good benefits packages and profit sharing with companies, depending on where you are. So the job titles, you know, OHS coordinator, OHS environment specialist, officer, manager, you know, advisor, consultant, HSE advisor. So there's a lot of different titles for jobs that you would apply for. And you can see by that we actually work across three main domains. One is health, the other is safety, and the other is environment, right? And you can build a career out in any one of those in particular, or just be a generalist across all three. So again, there's a lot of diversity in terms of where you can end up working. 95% of our grads are employed in a related field within 2 months of graduation. Many of our graduates actually are offered jobs before they graduate, either through their safety program review or through those networking opportunities we've talked about. In particular, right now, a lot of our grads are getting jobs in construction. They've been offered jobs. I mean, they've graduated now, but they were offered jobs even prior to graduation, because in BC, the construction industry is still doing very well despite COVID. So a lot of them are ended up in construction. But many of them go to lots of different places. And our summer students, our first year students, a lot of them also have summer jobs already lined up, because as we head into reopening, a lot of companies are trying to get their OHS programs up and running before the start of September. And so many of them have been offered positions in a wide variety of places as students. So lots of opportunities for advancement, employment, promotion, and continued professional development. And then, you know, we also have the ability to ladder and continue on to other programs, which we'll briefly mention later. So continuing education is really important. Next slide. So, I mean, this is, I think, one of the more important slides. Where do our grads go work? Well, they go to work for educational institutions, UBC, SFU, you know, BCIT. They'll go work for the school boards. All the school boards have OHS graduates. So, you know, private consulting firms doing, you know, health and safety consulting. Health authorities, so all the major health authorities hire our students. Telecoms, TELUS, Shaw, the utilities. BC Hydro is a big employer of our students. I mentioned school boards already. Cities and municipalities, regional districts. So City of Vancouver, City of New Westminster, City of Burnaby, Coquitlam. Then the regional municipalities, regional districts like Metro Vancouver, you know, and all through the interior as well too. And then that aside, there's the industries, right? So agriculture, film production, construction, forestry, food production, manufacturing, government, oil and gas, transportation. So each of these has an industry association in BC, and each of them are their own defined industry, and they all hire our grads. So, I mean, and when somebody says they're tired of working or they want to try something new, it's very easy once you graduate from our program to say leaving a municipality and going to work for the government, or going to work in transportation, or going to work in forestry. It's I would not say it's difficult. So our grads have really good job outcomes because of, you know, certain other programs are focused on a particular industry. Everybody hires our grads. So there's a lot of breadth to jobs. So this is just a testimonial from a recent grad. So Sinju's testimonial is BCIT's OHS program offered me a practical and collaborative learning environment that enhanced my skill set and led me to the desired workforce as soon as I graduated. The educational experience at BCIT was quite impressive and one of the best I've had in my life. I'd recommend this program to anyone who's highly passionate about the workplace safety and wellness. So a grad of our program, you know, had work experience, but not in OHS, graduated and right away was offered a job, and they're well on their way to building a career. So now it's not a job anymore. Now it's a career in OHS. So and that's really what we offer our grads, careers. So I'll hand it over to Maggie to talk a bit about the admission process, and then I'll probably answer some of the questions that you might have.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. So hello, everyone. My name is Maggie Ostrovsky, and I am a full-time studies program advisor with BCIT's Program Advising Department. So today I will be discussing with you the entrance requirements and admissions process for the Occupational Health and Safety Diploma Program, along with briefly discussing some key student services that are available to you at BCIT. So let's discuss the entrance requirements for the diploma. So this is a competitive entry program. So the academic entrance requirements for the program are as follows. The English requirement, which is 2 years of education in English in an English-speaking country, plus English 12 or equivalent with 67% or greater. Chemistry 11 with 50% or greater. Physics 11 with 50% or greater. And either pre-calculus 12 with 50% or greater, or foundations of math 11 with 67% or greater. Additionally, preference will be given to applicants with 5 years or more of general work experience, as Bobby mentioned, and this does not have to be related to occupational health and safety. Additional post-secondary academic courses, which will refer to university or college level courses. And of course, academic grades above the minimums in these specific entrance requirement courses. And please do ensure that you also fill out and submit the mandatory applicant questionnaire that is listed on the program's entrance requirements. This is also an important document to submit. So the start dates for the diploma and the certificate. The Occupational Health and Safety full-time diploma does have just one intake a year every September. So applications will be accepted online each year from October 1st through to April 4th. So for the next intake will be September 2022, and applications will be accepted online beginning this October 1st, 2021, through to April 4th, 2022. The certificate, as Bobby mentioned earlier, has ongoing start dates, and students will register for courses from within this program on an individual course by course and also a first come, first served basis. So for part-time studies, there are 3 terms per school year. So winter, which is typically a January start, spring, summer, which is an April start, and fall, which is a September start. And as Bobby also mentioned, the Occupational Health and Safety Certificate will have its own dedicated info session today at 4 p.m. So do please feel free to register and attend that session if you would like more information about the certificate specifically. So regarding the application process for the diploma, so you will first obviously review all the entrance requirements and the application processing dates. You will then upgrade if necessary. And just as an FYI, BCIT does offer upgrading courses for English 12, Physics 11, and Pre-Calculus 12. However, at this time, we do not offer upgrading courses for Chemistry 11. And do ensure that when you apply online that you have all of your required documents, such as transcripts, ready to scan and upload as PDF files. So www.bcit.ca/admission will guide you through the step-by-step application process, and that should answer most of your online application questions. Once you're ready to apply online, you can then visit www.bcit.ca/apply. So the application fee for domestic students is $90 Canadian and $154 Canadian for international students. So once the application window closes, all applications will then be reviewed by BCIT's admissions department and the Occupational Health and Safety program area. Successful applicants will then be informed via an electronic letter from BCIT's admissions department. And just on a side note, once you go to the Occupational Health and Safety Diploma page, on the left-hand side, and this is each program's webpage, you'll find very, very useful details and links to additional information such as costs and supplies, graduating and jobs, along with additional program details. So I do encourage you to check that out as well. So for laddering opportunities, there are a lot of laddering opportunities for credentials throughout BCIT. So you can go from associate certificates all the way to graduate certificates and master's degrees. But specifically for the Occupational Health and Safety Diploma, graduates from this program can ladder into BCIT's BBA degree, which is the Bachelor of Business Administration degree. There will be some additional bridging courses that would be required for entry to the BBA. And the more common path would be laddering into our grads laddering into the BCIT's Environmental Health Public Health Inspection degree program. And on a side note, the environmental health degree is offered only via full-time studies, while the BBA degree has opportunities both in full-time studies and part-time studies. So now I'll just briefly discuss some student services that you might want to be aware of. So we are focused on your success, especially during this time, and there are a number of key support services that are available to you if you do need them. The first one I do want to mention is our Student Life Office. Their mandate is to support student success and well-being throughout your entire student life cycle. So the Student Life Cycle and BCIT Student Association both apply the 8 dimensions model and provide services and resources in support of each area of this model to ensure student well-being. The elements include, as you can see on the slide, intellectual, occupational, physical, financial, psychological, environmental, spiritual, and social needs to ensure a student thrives and realizes one's goals. So supporting your success. So I'd like to mention a few other important student supports that are mentioned on this slide here. So the first is, if you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year at BCIT. They do offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and they can provide clarification on Indigenous funding. I also encourage you to review BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries that are listed on our Financial Aid and Awards webpage. I would like to mention that we have a President's Entrance Award. Selection for this award is based on academic achievement, but also on volunteer and community service. So do please contact Financial Aid directly if you would like more information regarding this. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe that you may need accommodation to be successful, I do encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. And BCIT Student Health Services is a clinic located at the Burnaby campus. They do provide medical care for current BCIT students throughout the year. Currently, they are providing both telephone and virtual appointments. And we do also have a counseling and student development department, which is available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. They are currently offering virtual and telephone appointments as well. And even our Recreation Services Department is currently offering virtual workouts and an esports league that you can compete in. So you can connect with us in a variety of ways. And if you do have any questions after today, I do want to encourage you to connect with us in program advising. You can give us a call Monday to Friday as indicated on the slide. You could also email us your questions or request a virtual appointment via email at program_advising@bcit.ca. And do please include the name of the BCIT program you're interested in and your availability times for the Zoom appointment. Program advisors are able to answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other details as well. So BCIT has social media presence on platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and definitely feel free to check these out. Especially BCIT's YouTube channel has many, many great videos showcasing a variety of BCIT's programs in action. So I do encourage you to check these out as they'll provide some very good, very detailed information for you. And you can also connect with BCIT in a variety of ways, as indicated on the right-hand side of this slide. At this time, information sessions are the best way to explore BCIT's programs. However, we do hope to resume campus tours and our Spend a Day service sometime in the near future. Okay, so now it's time for the question and answer portion of the session. So I'll hand that over maybe to Bobby and Julie.
Hi, everyone. I don't see any questions. Oh, let me see. Take a look at our chat. There we go. From Jeremy to everyone. Is the OH&S diploma certificate transferable between different provinces in Canada?
So if you mean by transferable, like can you use it to work in those provinces? Yes, I mean our grads work throughout Canada. BCIT is a very well-respected institution with respect to the OHS program. So we've had grads who graduate and they move to other provinces to work. Regarding the the other side of that question is there is a designation for safety, the Canadian Registered Safety Professional, the CRSP. So students who graduate from our program and then have 4 years experience can apply to write that exam. And most safety professionals do not have the designation, but those that do, of course, that increases their ability to, both from a salary perspective and their ability to get, I would say, higher functioning jobs. So our program does meet those requirements as well. So if you have any specific questions about transferring in some other aspect, let me know. But I would say yes from a jobs perspective.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Bobby. We don't have any other questions in the chat. So if anybody has any further comments or thoughts, please post them in the chat or just, oh, we have one right now from Sam. Hi, Bobby. Thank you for the presentation. Is the diploma program finally going to be full-time on campus in September?
Yes, that is the plan. I think not just our program, but BCIT as a whole, at a provincial mandate, is planning to be back to on campus. So our day school program will be back in class September on campus for this September. But for this info session is actually the intake for this September, the diploma program is closed. That class is full. If you would be applying, it would be in October for September 2022. It varies. I mean, it is it usually is about 8 to 11. The day school program is a very time intensive program, full-time on campus. You generally cannot hold down a job while you're doing it. It is akin to a full-time job. With, some students may work on Saturdays, but that's about it. You are here 5 days a week, from about 8:30 to anywhere from 4:30 to 5:30, depending on the day. I mean, there are breaks, but it's a full workload.
Thanks for that. A question from Eric. How many classes per semester?
So yeah, 8 to 12. 8 to 11 is what I would say. It's a full-time commitment.
Okay, and from Brian, is there an option to start the part-time certificate program and then transfer over to the full-time diploma?
Generally, no, because they are two distinct programs, and once seats are taken in the diploma program, those seats are reserved for those students. What we do advise students who are unsure, or they think they want to maybe take a course or two, we will allow students to take OHS 1000, which is the introductory course, and 1200, which is the I want to say the accident investigation course, and then we'll give them course credit for those classes if they apply to enter the diploma, but not beyond that. They are two distinct streams. Okay,
and from Adam, is that 8 to 12 classes assigned to us up front, or do we need to register for each class individually?
The diploma program, it's blocked. You don't need to do anything other than be accepted into the program, and then you receive a course schedule and you follow that schedule. The certificate program, you need to independently register for all the classes at your own pace.
Okay, is there anything else? Oh, thank you. Adam says thank you. Okay, so I think from all of us, thank you, Bobby, and thank you, Maggie. That was an excellent presentation. I'm gonna leave your contact information up and just let everyone know that you will be receiving a copy of the slide deck, a link to the video, and you'll be able to watch the recording again. So if you want to—
Sorry, Julie, there's just one more question from Jeremy.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. He just entered it right now.
To Bobby, how competitive is the diploma program, and how many students register and how many are accepted?
So historically, we've had about 2 to 3 students. I would say 2 to maybe 2.5 students if you want to average it out per seat. Now, the thing about our entry is we look at the breadth of the student. So we do want diversity. So when you look at our entry requirements, they appear to be high school. But the reason that is if I've got somebody who's a carpenter for 10 years, I don't want them to go get a bachelor's degree to get into the program. They'd make an excellent candidate for a safety position. So it is competitive, but we look at the 3 components. What is your work history? What is your education history? And the application is really important. We want it to be well filled out. Some people apply, but they don't write very much. So I would definitely say that doing a thorough application is important to show yourself the breadth of a client, breadth of a candidate. So again, despite the high school entry, we take people from across the spectrum, and that's what we want in the program, that diversity. And there's another question. I have recently completed an MEng from UBC, but my undergrad wasn't in an English-speaking country. Is that considered enough in terms of English requirements? I can't answer that question because that's admissions related. I'll hand it off to Maggie, but I generally say is apply, and we'll let you know if you're missing a requirement at that point. But I would suspect with the MEng, you'd probably okay if it was done at UBC. But Maggie, any comments?
Yeah, I was just gonna provide a link here. So yeah, you can just read through that, Sepida. But essentially there's like the two components of English, as I mentioned. There's the 2 years of education in English in an English-speaking country, and then there's the actual English 12, which refers to the reading and writing component of English. So for the 2 years education in English, you can actually, check out that link, but it is essentially, it means 12 courses or more successfully completed within 2 years or less, or 15 courses or more successfully completed within 3 years or less. And these are courses, not credits. So 12 courses within 2 years or 15 courses within 3 years. That's for the listening and speaking requirement. And then for the reading and writing, it's English 12 or equivalent with 67% or greater. So Master of Engineering, I don't think you would have something that's like a literature composition. I could be mistaken, but if you don't have that, you would have to probably do some sort of test like an IELTS, TOEFL, or BCIT has a couple of tests, so something along those lines. But definitely please check out that link for a little bit more detail on that. Yeah, as you mentioned, Sepida, you didn't. So yeah, it sounds like you don't probably meet the reading and writing. The listening and speaking, I'm not sure, but check out that link and hopefully that will help clear it up. But please feel free to email program_advising@bcit.ca if it's unclear in any way.
And feel free, and thank you, Julie, for hosting us today. But feel free to email me, as Julie said, if you have any questions.
We have one more from Eric. If I want to do the diploma, would it be a bad idea to do some part-time courses in the certificate program?
Like I said, it would have to be limited to OHS 1000 and 1200, but it's not a bad idea. I mean, it would take a little bit of pressure off in the first year, and that's not so bad for those who haven't done school in a while to transition in. You would have to pay separately out of pocket for those courses, and it would not give you a tuition reduction in September because it's based on the whole program. It's not, you're not paying for individual classes. So if you would like, go ahead and do it. It will really give you a feel for what the career is, and then you can decide if it's right for you if you're going to apply. And it will take a little bit of clear up your schedule a little bit as well. But only those two classes, OHS 1000 and 1200. And the other benefit is it would show the seriousness of your application, and you would definitely want to put that in your application that you've taken those courses, and that would definitely help you get into the program.
Thank you from Eric. Okay, I think we're at a close now. So if everyone wants, you don't have to screenshot this or anything. You will receive the slide deck, the video link, and the recording in a couple of days. So look out for that, and feel free to contact Bobby or Program Advising if you have any urgent or rushed questions. I'd like to thank everyone for their time. And Bobby, Maggie, and Darren, if you could just stay on for a couple of minutes while we close the event. Bye, everyone.